Welcome, family. It is your favorite chef, Odera, bringing you a meal that I'm pretty excited to share with you. Salmon teriyaki rice bowl. Pretty much everyone who's tasted it loves it. Honestly, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't say it's a quick meal. It's not gonna make it into the 15 minutes or less category, but it's worth it in my opinion. Very delicious. So, what you'll need for this dish is salmon, avocado, about a cup of pineapple juice, pineapple chunks, and you want to save the juice. You'll also need garlic salt, soy sauce, rice, just a quarter cup, and ginger paste. You'll also need a baking pan or baking sheet and some parchment paper to bake the salmon on, a frying pan. Actually, sorry, no. You're gonna need like a really small saucepan, not a big frying pan. I know it's hard to like understand the dimensions with these photos, but you want like a small saucepan. And then another small pan to cook the rice in, a quarter teaspoon, a quarter cup, measuring cup, and a tablespoon. I believe that's a tablespoon. Yes. And also like a full teaspoon. So the order of events is going to be really critical in this recipe. You want to start, I guess, really with preheating the oven. I didn't really show that. But you want to start by baking your salmon. So typically the way I bake salmon is for about 20 minutes at 425 degrees. If you don't know, the oven I'm currently using basically doesn't work like it's supposed to. So I just kind of throw the salmon in there, leave it for almost an hour, and just hope that it's cooked when all is said and done. But really, if you want to cook the salmon during the preheat, there's nothing really wrong with that, but you want to make sure that it's cooked for at least 20 minutes at 425 degrees. Next up, you want to get the rice going. Just add a quarter cup of dry rice and, fill the pot. Not completely fill, but, just kind of cover it with water and then start the boil. The type of rice you want to use, I use Jasmine rice, which I think is a great rice for this recipe because it is, trying to mimic sushi in a lot of ways. The type of rice that they use for sushi is called short grain rice. So you can buy that if you want. There's specifically like sushi rice. If you go to Walmart, you can get that. But I figured since you might want to use the rice for other things, you might want a more general rice like jasmine rice. Anyway, moving on. You could also just use regular rice. That's also fine. But if you had to choose between like jasmine and basmati, I would choose jasmine. Moving on to the sauce. This is going to be the most like active part of the whole meal. You want to put 3 tablespoons of soy sauce in the saucepan. And I'm about to make a mistake. We'll wait for it. Okay, yeah. So I put in 1 full tablespoon of ginger. So if you don't know, when I make these recipes, I don't measure. When I originally made all these recipes, I never measured a lot of the spices, actually any of the spices. But I'm starting to measure it now for the first time on camera. For everything that you ever see me film, I'm measuring the spices for the first time on camera. And the reason why I use 1 tablespoon of ginger is because I used 1 tablespoon of ginger for a lot of the other recipes, but I definitely felt like 1 tablespoon was too much. So I would advise using 1 teaspoon, maybe 2 if you really like the taste of ginger, but 1 teaspoon I would probably try that next time around. Anyway, as you see, I have the pineapple tidbits or chunks or whatever. You want to empty the juice into the saucepan. Just FYI, like I said, this is like kind of, I would say maybe Japanese inspired as opposed to specifically sushi inspired. But I've made teriyaki sauce before, and I know that teriyaki sauce calls for, side note, quarter teaspoon of garlic. Oh my goodness. honestly, all the information is in the description, so I'm just gonna talk how I want to talk. But yeah, I've made teriyaki sauce before. I might even put the link to the video that taught me how to make teriyaki sauce, because it's very simple, very easy in case you just want to make it yourself, you know, on your own. It's a very simple recipe, but it does call for sugar, and as you know, I'm against sugar. But I also kind of felt like, well, if we're already gonna incorporate the calories of the pineapple juice in the can, we might as well use it for the teriyaki sauce, and it works out really, really nice. So pretty much what you're gonna do is just let the fire roll. You don't even really have to, you know, mix it so much. I always love mixing food because I don't like it burning to the bottom, and you know, I get bored. But you're just gonna let the heat roll. This process, I've taken a cooking course on thegreatcourses.com and I can tell you that this process is called reducing. When you reduce something, you're basically just, I mean, in science it's called evaporation. You're just you know, cooking off the water, and the water escapes as steam. But through that process, whatever you're cooking typically becomes thicker or more concentrated. So over time, I've cut out a lot of scenes in this process, but over time this sauce will become thick, as you can see, and it does kind of boil a lot. You don't want it boiling over, you know. I have it on pretty high heat, you know, so I don't think there's really a risk of it boiling over. But it is a process. It does take some time, and towards the end I'll show you the consistency that I like to cook it down to. One issue that I have noticed with this dish that my mom noticed as well is that it doesn't yield a lot of sauce. I don't really find it as a huge problem. I think if you know, want more flavor, you could always just add an extra, you know, tablespoon of soy sauce to the finished dish. But it doesn't yield a lot of sauce. So again, you can refer to the teriyaki recipe video to make more sauce, or you can try doubling up on this. I just don't know what you would do with the extra pineapples. But as you can see, this is kind of the consistency that I'm trying to get the sauce to. It's not as thick as like a commercial teriyaki sauce by any means, but it's thick enough to where if you know, kind of scrape the bottom of the pan, it doesn't collapse back on itself like water would. So I'm just showing again, like when it's cooled, what the consistency is like. Also, because I added a little bit too much ginger paste specifically, it kind of came out grainy as opposed to like really smooth, like, you know, commercial teriyaki sauce. But you know, it doesn't affect the taste that much. Well, actually, I did feel like the sauce came out a little gingery, but my mom liked it anyway, and I definitely feel like it didn't ruin the dish. I just wouldn't have used so much ginger the next time around. Anyway, the salmon is finally done. I think it took an hour, to be honest. And here, I'm just gonna like flake it up. I pretty much only flaked it up for plating, and like given when you actually right now I'm checking to make sure that it's done. That's actually what I'm doing. But then in the next scene or so, I think, yeah, in the next scene coming up, you'll see that I kind of flaked it up completely just for plating. And also, in order to check to see if salmon is done, you do want to check the thickest part, the center, and just look and see if it's cooked. If it's not cooked, throw it back in the oven. And there you have it. Oh, wow. Okay, wow, I completely forgot this one step. Cube up some avocado, throw it in the bowl, that's all. And then like also put in the pineapple. Then you have the salmon and the rice. And I did this, you know, nice little glaze thing. Here's a cheat tip. If you want the glaze to look that pretty, you can put it in a Ziploc bag, cut out the corner, just the very small nick of the corner, and then squeeze it out like icing. So yeah, here's the price per meal breakdown. I hope you like this recipe. Don't forget to share, comment, like, subscribe, whatever, and have a great day. Bye!